I've got plenty to be thankful for.
For this reason, I agree.
I haven't got a great big yacht to sail
All
from
right,
shore to shore.
7:22 in the morning. Little Bing from Holiday Inn. 790-2040
Der
is
bingo.
the phone.
Yes.
Before we get to the phone calls, are we gonna go? Where do you want? You can pick one: gas tax or bond stuff. What do you want to do? What are you feeling?
Well, I'll just throw the stat out because Allie sent it over. The Pima County bond is 3.7 times higher, bonding outstanding, the debt on the credit card, than all the other counties in the state combined. So if you added them all up, we're 3.7 times more than all of them. You look at sewer bonds, road bonds, HERF bonds.
Cops, yeah.
Cops, and we're looking at doing another one that got sidelined that's been working on since 2008. And so this bonding question, I guess, goes back to who pays for bonds, Chris? Where do bonds get paid for by?
Suckers like taxpayers.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's a big issue rolling around.
It is a huge issue, and people need to think about, in addition to the bond debt, we also have to think about the maintenance that goes along with every single one of these projects we approve. Every road that we build, we got to maintain it, and
Right.
we're not doing it.
Right.
And until and unless we start maintaining the roads, my position is, I'm not going to be real favorable to any more bonds.
Right.
Now, I notice a couple of things, similarities between you guys. One, you both love charts. Okay.
We are sick.
And both of you ran for Pima County Board of Supervisor, same seat. One of you won. But you guys did the most similar chart work together. So what?
We are very sick, aren't we?
So what is this thing of the bar graph, if you want to know, on the radio?
Well, this chart takes all the states in the country and looks at their gas tax. It's an analysis of their state gas tax, what they charge. And then we have the most failed roads, and then we have the most failed roads, and then the best roads in the country.
So you correlated gas tax to road quality. Is there
Correct.
a correlation between more taxes going into government and better roads?
Well, if you look at the most failed roads, they have the highest gas taxes.
What?
So, yes.
What?
And the best roads in the country are at some of the lowest taxes. And Pima County is kind of, at the low end of the tax range. But this is my point, is that raising the gas tax is not going to ensure better roads because it's management of the money. That's what I've been pounding on all year. We've got to spend the money. We've got to stop spending on non-essential things. And we've got to reroute the money to the things where we will get the most economic bang for our buck out of it. And the roads are critical.
If you're one of these other municipalities in the state and you're saying, dude, we take care of our roads.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, Chuck and the crew can't even throw us a bone and say we're going to take a certain percentage of the transportation and really put it in the roads. Not the
Well, they did before the election.
Well, we know that we
came
found
in.
20 million in the
That 10 million?
in the coffee can buried in the front yard, and then it went back.
After the election, they took it away.
Well, they did. Mike Helen did, go out there with $10 million and pave a few roads.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
We've got
yeah,
the
we
video.
remember.
I heard he can work with Chuck. 790-2040 is the number. Let's go to Dick on line 2. Dick, you're on with Chris Joe and Allie Miller. What's up, bud?
Allie, you spoke to our group some time ago about Rio Nuevo, and I wonder if you'd give us an update on your opinions about the resolution of that. And number 2, would you be willing to look at some evidence of outright public malfeasance or fraud involving Rio Nuevo money?
Are we talking about Jonathan Payton, or what are we talking about? Being the lobbyist and not coming to the newspaper? Or are we talking about this new study by Urban Land
I
Institute?
think it's talking about the whole general thing.
Oh, okay.
I think regarding the outcome of the Attorney General's investigation, I was very disappointed in that. I think it proves. I mean that the article said if you have a bad memory and if you don't keep good records, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
And I was just appalled. And I did I had a conversation with the Attorney General, and they just said they didn't have the evidence. And end of the day, I think there's a lot of evidence out there, and I really wish that someone would have the political will to dig in on this and make sure that someone is held accountable.
Well, Tom Horn's turned out to be quite a winner.
Yeah, you may not be able to hold them accountable in a criminal way, but someone should have been fired. I mean, it is just absolutely outrageous, the things that went on with the money.
The only person who lost their job in this is Hine? Is that basically what we're talking about?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
And now he's back over at Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, that's right. He works for you now.
Yes.
like-
There's another debacle. $100 million building
Well, it's let's not. We can't even get time for that. Hey, Dick, thanks for the great call. Have a great Thanksgiving. 790-24.
What do you think on this Urban Land Institute study that we just spent $130,000 for? What's behind that? What's going on?
Well, I found it very interesting. I came up on the agenda last week, and Chuck had already agreed to pay for it, so I don't know why he'd even brought it to us for approval, but he wanted $15,000 from Pima County. And I have the breakdown here, and there was other groups that participated. The City of Tucson, $15,000, Pima County, $15,000, PAG, $30,000, Maria Nuevo, $40,000, and some private company, Hualoa, $30,000.
Chris, who did they hire to do this study?
C.H. Johnson.
Now, who's he? It sounds familiar to me.
C.H. Johnson, he's one of those consultants that keeps raping the local taxpayer. So it started with Hine and hotel selections. That's how far he goes back.
Wow.
And then he was doing a little work for Garfield, and then he came back and did the TCC.
So he's the
evaluation.
build a hotel guy, build a convention center, make it happen guy.
Well, and then what's really
Why
interesting
now?
about this is that they're studying. The study came out, and they're looking at private land, the old Hotel Arizona and La Placita villages, which are privately owned. And it begs the question, why would taxpayers be studying someone's private land holdings to see how we can better improve? And the recommendations from that study were that we tear down the Hotel Arizona and we do improvements to La Placita. Those are privately owned. I will fight if anybody proposes that we spend public money on that Hotel Arizona, tearing it down, and La Placita villages. That is just wrong. We have plenty of publicly owned buildings down there that we can do improvements on. That needs to be done with
This is how it
private
starts.
money.
It starts with a plan. It starts with a commission study from
Yep.
a third-party credible person.
Sure.
All of a sudden it turns into
That sounds pretty credible.
we got to
Urban
do
Land
this.
Institute.
The ball's rolling, folks. So keep an eye on this one.
So what could happen, and this is just coming from my twisted brain, just keep an eyeball out. There could be a possibility of some bond work
Yep.
by the county, city type of thing. Hoalua could be one of your people that's going to be the one in the middle of all
Major
this
commercial developer.
in relation to this whole thing. Maybe they help buy out Bert.
It
and all
begs
this
the
stuff.
question, why did they participate to the tune of $30,000? And then, the taxpayers, every one of these, City of Tucson, Pima County, PAG, Rio Nuevo.
People have said, I've gotten so many emails. Why did Bert say in the article, "Hey, we're still a convention city," blah blah blah, because he's still trying to get the most out of his assets. That's why he's publicly saying, "Oh, we can still get some conventions here." We can't really, but that's why. So it's something to keep an eyeball on, guys.
I
We've
will be
seen it
watching
before.
this.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think everybody needs to pay attention to this one because we cannot let this happen again, and especially with Rio Nuevo in charge of it. I mean, how many more of these rat holes do we need to go down?
790-24 is the phone number. Let's go to Jim on line 3. Happy Thanksgiving, Jim. What's up, bud?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Allie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to call for a couple of things. One, I want to thank Allie because Allie has worked hard for a lot of candidates, and she specifically worked very hard for one of the candidates I worked for. And I want to thank her for that because, she goes out on the line and says, this is who I'm supporting. This is who I want you all to support. She's one of the few politicians that will put her arm around a candidate and say, this is who we got to get in. And so many of our elected politicians don't reach back and help grow new candidates. And Allie does that.
Amen, Jim. You've been one. I've been one. I've been there, man.
I'm very
Yep.
grateful for Allie for that. The second thing I want to say is what Allie is going through is a perfect microcosm of the dysfunction within the Republican Party in Pima County, and it's just exactly that. Other elected Republicans turning around and slapping other elected Republicans and fighting publicly about things that should not be fought about publicly, and using whether it be various apparatuses or various groups within the leadership that to slap each other around, and that's why we're losing elections in Pima County, and it's got to stop. It absolutely has to stop.
Well,
So,
Jim,
that's my 2 cents, Allie, and I'm not saying that you are the one perpetrating that. What I'm saying is they've got to stop slapping you around. It's just that simple.
Jimmy, thanks for the call, bud. Allie?
the comment I'd like to make on that is that, when I just read this letter and I talked about Ray Carroll's employee, the one thing Ray Carroll accuses me of is going out and bashing him on radio shows. I've never done that. I never have. The radio talk show hosts, apparently they don't have a good relationship with him, and that's on Ray. And end of the day, he should own his votes. Yeah, I'm shining the light on his votes and everyone else's. He should own them. He should be proud of them, and he should tout them to the public. If he's voting the way that he is, why is he upset that I'm putting videos up of his votes? I don't get it. You should own it and be proud of it.
Well, no one's ever bothered him before with this kind of transparency, so it's a little uncomfortable, I think. So, anyway, Allie, have an amazing Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
We will talk to you very, very soon. What's your favorite side dish on the Thanksgiving?
My favorite side dish is the cranberries.
Very good.
I love making them, and they're really easy and they're great. I
All
don't
right.
like the stuff out of the can.
Amen, sister.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. All right,
Bye-bye.
when we get back, we got Chief Master Sergeant Donna Sonoda. Hopefully I'm saying that right. You know, I'm very sensitive about, when you have a last name like G. Simone, you're sensitive about saying people's names right. She is the Command Chief Master Sergeant for the 355 Fighter Wing at DM. We're going to be talking about a program they do called the Weekend Warrior. We'll be talking about it. And then Herbie after that. Wake Up Tucson, 10:30 The Voice.
Life, politics, sports, and entertainment. Dennis Miller, mornings 8 to 10 on 1030 KVOI, The Voice.